Hey guys, this is Steli Afti with Close.io. Let's talk about a quick unbottleneck hack that I discovered a few months ago and that has been served me really well as an entrepreneur. Maybe this scenario is familiar to you. A lot of times when you're the founder, even especially when you're the founder CEO of a startup, you're involved in too many things, your hands are in too many pots, and usually what happens is that your inbox gets filled with requests and questions from people on your team, but also beyond that, that need your approval, need your feedback, need your comment on some project, some new design, some copy, some new blog post, whatever it is. You constantly get things in your inbox that require you to actually respond in order for somebody else to be able to do their job. And you know what? Because you have way too many things going on, a lot of times you turn into a massive bottleneck for a lot of people in your organization. And with that, you're kind of disabling and disempowering people from moving forward really quickly because they have to wait around to hear back from you. And depending on how stressful your life is, how many things you're working on, you may respond really quickly. It might take you forever sometimes. This creates a lot of issues. Obviously, it creates a lot of stress for you as an entrepreneur, which is unnecessary. You're going to have a lot of stress anyways in all areas of your life. The other thing that it does is it creates a lot of waiting around, idle time for people, and you're disempowering them, and it's very unmotivating, uninspiring for them to start working on something, send it your way, and all they need is approval or a little bit of feedback, and then they wait around for a day and 2 days and 3 days and 4 days, and still haven't heard back from you, and they're unable to really move the project forward and to completion, right? That sucks. The other thing is that it slows everything down. And that's really the most crucial, most critical thing about a startup is time. That's your most precious resource, and the ability to move forward really quickly and get things done and get shit shipped. And if you're the main bottleneck and if lots and lots of people rely on waiting around for you to approve, give them feedback and comment on things before they can actually take them and run with them, it's just going to slow down your operation. And another startup, somebody else that hasn't created these bottlenecks in their organization will be able to outcompete you. So what's the solution to that problem? Well, there's a lot of things. You have to empower people, give them more autonomy, help them to grow into leaders, trust people more. There's all this stuff, and all that is awesome. But I want to talk about something that's much easier to do, something you can do like that. You don't have to change anything about your personality. You don't have to learn new management skills. Here's what you do. You empower people to give you deadlines, and these deadlines come with real consequences. So here's what I'm telling people to do. Whenever they send me an email with a task, I ask them to include a deadline. Usually it should be 24 hours if it's really urgent, 48 hours if it's not that urgent, but that's kind of the range that you want to have, 24 to 48 hours. If you really want to push it, you might make it 12-hour deadlines, but that's kind of the range that you should think about. And when somebody sends me a task and says, hey, Steli, look at this whatever new design I made for our product, I really want your feedback. If I don't hear back from you by Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, I will assume you liked what we have enough that I can move forward and publish or push the new design out or whatever it is, right? That creates a couple of things. Number one, it creates a real deadline for me. And now when I read that email, I can make a decision. Is this really important? And my feedback and my input, do I feel so strong about it that I need to make it a priority and actually work on it immediately and send feedback? Because I know now that if I don't give feedback by that specific time, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, they'll move forward without my feedback, without my input, right? It's going to do a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to be able to better pick and choose what I really want to reply to and where I feel that my input is really crucial and needed. And number two, it's going to give everybody else that needs something from me real power to move forward if they don't hear back from me in a reasonable amount of time. That single unbottleneck hack is creating all kinds of awesome sauce in our company, and I think it could do the same thing for you. And this is not just for entrepreneurs. This is really for everyone that has a lot of people relying on their feedback and input for them to be able to move forward with things. It's going to decrease the stress in your life. It's going to empower people that work with you and make them like you a lot more. And it's going to also allow you to really prioritize. And sometimes I look at emails and I think, you know what, I have some comments, but I really don't have the time to share them. And are my comments or thoughts really that important to this very specific project or issue or question? No, they're not. And I just archive it. I just say it's good enough as is. I'm not going to even comment. I don't even feel the urge or need that I need to respond to this. And sometimes when something is really critical and I don't have the time to respond, here's what people might ask, right? I just had that come up. Well, what if there's something really crucial, but you really didn't have the time because of some crisis or something? Isn't it horrible if something get pushed out in the world and it's really bad and you didn't have a chance to influence it? No, because I could always just send an email that says, hey dude, don't have time. You cannot publish by Wednesday, not ready. Let's discuss a next team meeting or something. I can always write an email in one sentence, tell people, don't fucking publish this. I don't have time to give you feedback, but you should not publish. But you know how many times that happens? Almost never. Almost never, right? So try that out with your team, with the people that you've always felt guilty for being the bottleneck, and for all these emails that are in your inbox that need a reply, need feedback, need descriptions, discussions, and comments from your side in order to be able to move forward. Try that out. Empower people to give you deadlines and empower them to move forward without your consent or without your feedback or reply if they haven't heard back from you in a reasonable amount of time. Usually I like to have that 24 to 48 hours. That also manages a way for them to not be unreasonable. Like people not sending you an email and saying, hey, you have a deadline. If I don't hear back in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to move forward with this, right? That allows them and pushes them to actually manage their time and your time better in communicating with you in advance, at least 1 to 2 days in advance, what they need from you. But then you empower them to not be a bottleneck anymore and for them to move forward in case they don't hear from you. Try out the Unbottleneck Hack and let me know how it works.